The USS Scorpion was one of only 2 nuclear submarines ever lost by the U.S. Navy.
Navy specifically has a very important part of this job. Its ballistic missile submarines carry a substantial portion of the U.S. nuclear warheads.
In modern warfare, there is a strategy known as bomber diplomacy, which has become a critical tool for the United States. Iconic aircraft like the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress and Rockwell B-1 Lancer frequently take to the skies, flying alongside Allied jets. These missions are deliberate shows of strength aimed at China, North Korea, and Russia, signaling that the U.S. remains a dominant force. But the battlefield is shifting. It's no longer just about land and air. The depths of the oceans are becoming the next front in global power struggles. To meet this challenge, the U.S. is advancing its nuclear arsenal with the cutting-edge Columbia-class submarines. These silent giants will play a vital role in America's nuclear triad. The question is, can they maintain the balance of power in a rapidly evolving world? Let's find out. The seas have always held secrets, but now those secrets are surfacing for the world to see. In Europe, the presence of U.S. bombers in the skies sends a clear message of reassurance to allies and warning to adversaries. This tactic, known as visible deterrence, is about more than firepower. It's a calculated show of resolve. But what happens when this concept dives below the waves? Enter the U.S. Navy's underwater diplomacy, where nuclear submarines become ambassadors of power. Traditionally, submarines have thrived in secrecy. Dubbed the silent service, these vessels owe their strategic value to their stealth, ensuring a guaranteed ability to retaliate with devastating force in the event of an attack. But now, the rules are changing. Instead of remaining hidden, some submarines are deliberately surfacing in high-stakes regions, transforming into symbols of strength and commitment. The shift began in 2017 during escalating tensions with North Korea. The Ohio-class submarine USS Michigan surfaced near South Korea, a highly visible message to Pyongyang. In 2020, another Ohio-class vessel, the USS Georgia, made a dramatic appearance in the Strait of Hormuz. These acts weren't random, they were calculated demonstrations of U.S. military reach and resolve, sending ripples across the geopolitical landscape. This strategy of visible deterrence gained even more traction with the 2022 Nuclear Posture Review, which emphasized showcasing U.S. assets to reassure allies in the Indo-Pacific. The deployment of the USS West Virginia to the Arabian Sea during heightened tensions over Ukraine was a particularly bold move, grabbing global attention. Beijing, Moscow, Pyongyang, and Tehran undoubtedly took note. But there's a problem. The Ohio-class submarines that have spearheaded this approach are aging. By 2026, key vessels like the USS Ohio and USS Florida are slated for decommissioning, leaving a gap in the Navy's strategic arsenal. While newer Virginia-class submarines with additional vertical launch systems, VLS, are stepping up, their capacity doesn't match the firepower of the Ohio-class. The solution? A leap forward in submarine innovation. To maintain dominance beneath the waves and ensure flexibility in future deployments, the U.S. Navy is developing a new generation of nuclear submarines. Now, since 2013, the U.S. Navy has been laser-focused on one of its most ambitious undertakings, the Columbia-class submarine program. This monumental initiative aims to construct 12 next-generation ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs, to replace the aging fleet of 14 Ohio-class subs. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Congressional documents reveal the program's origins date back to December 2006, when an exchange of letters between President George W. Bush and British Prime Minister Tony Blair sparked a joint effort. The UK wanted to extend the Trident II D5 missile program into the 2040s and build their own cutting-edge SSBNs. This set the wheels in motion for what would become America's cornerstone of sea-based strategic deterrence. By 2007, the Department of Defense had already begun exploring replacements for the Ohio-class. Yet, for nearly a decade, the program had an unassuming title, the Ohio Replacement Program, or Submersible Ship Ballistic Nuclear X. That X hinted at groundbreaking innovation, but it lacked flair. Even naming the vessels proved challenging. The U.S. Navy already had an attack submarine named Columbia, SSN 771, commissioned in 1995. With both submarines set to overlap in service, confusion loomed. To solve this, the Navy christened the new class District of Columbia, SSBN 826, though the class name remains simply Columbia. General Dynamics Electric Boat, the same company behind the Ohio-class submarines, was tasked with the design and construction of this crucial piece of America's nuclear triad. Structurally, the Columbia-class retains the Ohio-class's 560-foot length but adds an extra foot in diameter, reaching 43 feet. The displacement has increased as well, nearly 21,600 tons compared to the Ohio's 18,750, making it the largest submarine ever built by the United States. One of the Columbia-class's most revolutionary features is its life-of-the-ship nuclear fuel core, eliminating the need for mid-life refueling. By contrast, the Ohio-class required an extensive 4-year overhaul for refueling after 19 years of service. Designed for a 42-year operational lifespan, the Columbia-class not only continues the Ohio's legacy, but does so with advanced efficiency and longevity. Although Columbia-class submarines won't escape the need for significant mid-life repairs, they represent a technological leap forward. The switch from mechanical propulsion systems to a quieter electric drive is a game-changer. By using an electric motor to turn the propeller, rather than the gearbox-driven mechanical systems of the past, these submarines dramatically lower their acoustic signature, making them harder to detect. This upgrade also reduces life cycle costs, marking a shift toward efficiency and stealth. While the propulsion system is new, some trusted elements remain. The submarines will still rely on nuclear reactors and steam turbines, technologies that have been the backbone of American subs for decades. The process is straightforward. The nuclear reactor heats water to create steam, which powers turbines to produce mechanical energy. This energy is then converted into electricity to drive the engines and support onboard systems. The turboelectric drive isn't a new concept. It saw success on U.S. battleships and carriers in the early 20th century, and even powered the experimental USS Tullabee in the 1950s. Its return underscores a blend of innovation and proven reliability. Columbia-class subs will also incorporate cutting-edge systems inherited from the Virginia-class attack submarines. These include advanced jet propulsion, anechoic coating to absorb sonar signals, and the state-of-the-art large-aperture Bow LAB sonar system. Sail-mounted dive planes and X-shaped aft control surfaces further enhance maneuverability, while the Submarine Warfare Federated Tactical System integrates sonar, optical imaging, and weapon controls into a unified, highly effective network. Yet not all decisions have been without controversy. Experts have raised concerns over the reduction in missile launch tubes. Columbia-class subs will carry 16, compared to the Ohio-class's 20. Critics argue this could weaken the U.S. nuclear deterrent in the decades ahead. Current plans call for 14 Trident-equipped submarines, each with 20 launchers, totaling 280. Reducing those numbers could leave a strategic gap, especially as threats evolve. Meanwhile, the plan is to build a fleet of 12 submarines, each armed with 16 missile tubes, 192 in total. That's a 32% reduction from the 280 missile launchers in the current Ohio-class fleet. This raises a critical question. Will this smaller arsenal be enough, especially considering the unknown relevance of nuclear deterrence by 2080, when the last Columbia sub is set to retire? The Navy insists this decision wasn't made lightly. Extensive analysis concluded that 16 missile launchers per sub offer sufficient capability, not just for deterrence in the 2030s, but well into the future. Each tube will carry the UGM-133 Trident II D5LE missile, with an upgraded version, the D5LE-2, to be introduced starting with the 9th Columbia submarine after fiscal year 2039. Now, can nuclear submarines remain the backbone of deterrence, or will they eventually be replaced by even more innovative solutions? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.